Hi, I'm Trey Stevens, and I want to take you inside my ministry event. This was my capstone project for the course, and the heart behind it was simple: to encourage people, worship together, and remind each other that Christ alone is our foundation, not our calling, not our healing, and not even our best achievements. So let's go ahead and take a look. I began planning for this type of event a month before actual event because I had looked ahead in my coursework, knowing that the capstone was coming, to see what I had to do. And this allowed me to reach out to potential attendees and work on a date that worked best for all of them. It also allowed me to really focus on what the Lord was wanting me to speak about and how the Lord was wanting me to craft the environment. What you're looking at now is how the invite looked when I sent it to multiple people. I put it into an image format so that way it would be more appetizing and easy to read for the person on the receiving end. One of the first mishaps that occurred was I did not have my HDMI cable plugged in. And looking back and being in that situation, I realized that the benefit of having run through your schedule beforehand, life-saving, so that you don't realize you're missing something during. We really began with some fellowship and eating. I had food played out and people brought food. They were encouraged to bring food, but it was not endorsed and it was not required for them to bring food. But that ability to have food at the beginning was very opening and very widening the conversation and made it a very comfortable space to speak. And so that was a plus and something that I would keep up in the future, is having the food. First thing we did was open up with prayer, and that really helped set our minds on things above us and not on worldly things. Having that prayer first, and then going straight into our worship, which sets the tone for everything that followed. One thing I've learned from this event is how important it is to lead with prayer and have a clear call to worship. And that's something I'll keep for the future, along with extending the worship time, but having a clear call that, hey, this is our time to worship. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel, shall not fade. By his blood and in his name, in his freedom I am free. For the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. After that, we went into the sermon. It was very personal, direct, and aimed at the people in the room. I intentionally used pauses to let the message sink in and give the Spirit space to work. And an attendee later told me that those pauses were actually one of the most impactful parts of the evening. But everyone hears these words of mine and does not put them eager to know who the Holy Spirit is, which we should all be eager to know who the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit is Paul, I said Paul, I meant to say Pat. Pat, you're a missionary. You're a missionary. Right now in your seat, you're a missionary. What you build, you're still going to be saved. Because you know why? Because the foundation of Christ is still there. I did notice areas of growth, like avoiding certain phrases that can shift the focus back to me, and balancing the contemplative content with more storytelling from the start. Jesus, I know you've called me to be a pastor, but even if you don't, I'm still going to worship you. That's what the foundation is. We have these. And then finally, after the sermon, we broke into small groups led by intentional leaders that I had chosen ahead of time. This is where the message became personal. Convictions went deep, people encouraged one another, and the word was applied to real life situations. And one thing that I did was to make sure that I sat out of those discussions, because it's a little awkward when we talk about, oh, what did this person say that you really took away? And then they're sitting right there. And that's something that I had seen that a pastor shared with me, and so I really led into that. And an attendee also mentioned that the discussions were very memorable, and it helped strengthen connections with everyone who was present. This night taught me that effective ministry takes intentionality, humility, and a willingness to adapt. For the future, I plan to make many changes, but the night went very well all in all. due to the fact of leading with the Holy Spirit. And that's really what I would rely on fully in the future. There was a lot of difficulties, but all in all, in a recap of the night, it all went amazingly according to the will of the Father. And I'm so blessed for that.